we're back. And today, along with me and Shivam, who are the regulars on our channel, which is Inside B, we have Sameer and Anshul, who are also with us in EPGP, batch of 26. And yes, I would like to welcome them. Thank you so much for being here. And why don't we start with an introduction? What about you, Sameer? Tell us all about you.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. My name is Samir Acharya. I have a total of 7.5 years of experience, majorly into energy construction domain, and I'm glad to be a part of IIM Bangalore EPGP.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Anshul, and I have close to 9 years of work ex in automobile industry. My passion for automobile industry landed me at various, landed me at various OEMs. Then close to it was around August when I decided to pursue MBA and decided to give GMAT and then went ahead with the interviews and everything. Yeah.
Great. So today our focus is GMAT. I think now is the hot time. Everybody's preparing for GMAT or GRE, whichever you're preparing for. And I understand, Samir, you did both, so you know best of both worlds.
Yes.
So yeah, we want to hear everything. Like, how did you start? When did you decide? Like, for an example, I decided that I want to do MBA in August of 23 for like 25 intake, and I gave like in 2.5 months of prep, I gave my first GMAT. I scored really, really bad. So I tell this to people that I came out from GMAT, center two times, both time crying. First time because it was so terrible that I couldn't believe I could do so bad. And second time it was so unexpectedly really good. I was like, wow, is this really me? So yeah, so that's a little bit about my journey. Why don't you start? Like, Anshul, what do you like? Tell me about your journey of GMAT. How did you prepare? When did you decide? How long did it take?
So actually, my MBA journey start is actually very, very strange. So what happened was I never wanted to do an MBA, and I wanted to pursue my career in automobile as I was doing going up. But some things happened. What happened was I applied in. I wanted to switch to CXO office roles and all, and I applied in few companies, and I was rejected only because I did not had MBA on my profile. So then I decided कि यार I wanted to move to leadership roles. Then why not? If MBA is something that will lead me to there, so why not? So hence and I had very little knowledge about GMAT, and I did not explore anything earlier. So my journey started on 1st August. 1st August I enrolled for a eGMAT, self-paced tutorial classes. It was a around 2.5 months course, and then I realized, oh, I have very little time because your application starts from October. I think October and November your application starts. So I had literally like only 3 months, August, September, October.
For round
So
three.
around three, right? And
Mhm.
then the strangest part was what happened with me was I decided that if I go ahead like this, I won't be able to prepare for GMAT. What I did is I took GMAT date. I took GMAT date on 2nd August itself. And then I was like, now since I have a target in mind, maybe I'll be able to prepare better. And then I went through the courses, and again, so quant was a strong part for me. So I did not I spent very less time on prepping for quant, and majority of my time went for verbal and for our data interpretation part. So yeah, 2.5 months was a journey. Majorly because another thing happened at work. During the same time, Greaves, where I was working before joining IIM Bangalore, they decided to go for an IPO, and I was selected as one of the person to lead from R&D side to lead this IPO journey. So I was like, already weekdays were busy, and now even weekends will be busy. How will I prep for GMAT? So
Yeah.
a thought came in my mind that maybe I should drop it. Maybe I should, explore next year or something like that. But I thought, ठीक है, I've taken a date. Let's prep for it. Let's see how it goes. So yeah, I prep for it, and then the D-Day came. Again, I was so busy in prepping for GMAT and all. On the day of the exam, I forgot to take my passport.
Oh man,
Wow.
how can you make that mistake?
And
Wow.
so
Okay.
what happened was I checked, and they mentioned that you have to carry any ID card, and it was mentioned that passport is required only for people who are applying outside their country. I thought,
Okay.
okay, passport is not required. I carried my other ID cards, but yeah, as soon as I entered the invigilator there, she asked me for the passport, and then I did not had. Then the center was around 40 minutes from my home, so my wife
Oh,
literally carried the passport, and then um, yeah, somehow she made it to the center, and yeah, so the exam went good. I scored 645 in focus edition, so yeah, it went well, and yeah, hence this was the GMAT journey for me.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize. I think like a lot of our viewers will also know this, that working and giving your GMAT, right, is
Yeah,
very, very difficult, right?
very, very
And like the
difficult.
average age right now is like 30, right? You're
30.
you're probably married, you probably have responsibilities, you're
True.
thinking about work stress like creating DRHP, or you have like कि मैं quant का question कैसे solve करूँ, right? You're studying after like probably
True.
10 years, है ना?
Yeah, yeah,
So
close to 10
it
years.
gets
True.
very challenging, and it got
Mm.
challenging for me also. I gave GRE because like I knew my verbal was a bit stronger, right?
Hmm.
I know, Samir, you have given both the exams.
yes, yes.
Right? So first thing I want to know, why did you choose an MBA? And then what was your GRE GMAT confusion about?
I'll give you a fun fact. I gave both GRE and GMAT twice.
Oh, damn. Dude, that's some
Oh,
resilience.
Yeah.
crazy, crazy.
But the GRE part was much for the MS thing, because I actually wanted to do MS from the United States. So
Mm.
I did GRE right after my college, but some things happened and I couldn't pursue it. So, cut short, wanted to pursue MBA after 5 or 6 years of work experience. And when you are into construction sector, the timelines of your working is never defined. So you're working on Sunday evening, you're traveling to the construction sites with limited internet connectivity. You are staying in some remote villages.
What
You might
locations were
not
you staying at?
uh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, MP, core parts where you have thermal power plants. So you might not even have the electricity itself working 24/7. And so, yeah, it was tough. So, what I realized from my GRE journey was that I should be spending some money on the GMAT course itself.
Mm.
I knew that my strength was my quant, but the problem was that after 7 years of experience, your analytical capability goes down. The speed goes down. The capability is still there. So, you remember the formulas, but the speed of catching up has gone down significantly. So what I planned was that I will take an online course, an online live course. Why? Because if you take a live course, so you will attend. I'm sure Anshul was able to do it with self course, but I knew that I won't be able to do it. So I took the online course from Jamboree. Why online? Because I was moving throughout the country for work reasons. So I would suggest our viewers that it is better you take the center course because it adds a layer of sincerity again.
Yeah.
So if you take the center course, you will go there and you will learn better. But okay, I took the online part of it and I was regular. I just attended the classes, the homework which they gave and the mock test which they give. So it
Mm.
kind of helped me a lot because I don't have to navigate a lot on the internet because the internet can be a bit confusing on what resources to follow. Although GMAT Club is a very good resource, but again, it is better to have a tutor whom you can ask your personalized doubts. For example, if you are weak in, let's say, some area, so you can ask the tutor, can I get more questions on it to practice? So my first GMAT attempt, I scored 660, but I somehow scored very badly in one of the section. I actually didn't remember because I gave GMAT maybe 3 years back, the
Mhm.
first
Wow,
attempt. So I scored 660 in the older format.
Right.
So
perfect.
I knew that 660 was not enough for IIM Bangalore. So I actually thought of applying only to the Indian B schools because
Mm.
of my family reasons. So I only had IIM A, IIM B, IIM C, and ISB in my mind at that time. So only these four colleges. So I knew that 660 is not enough for all of these.
Yeah.
So I prepared it again. And this time I thought that maybe I should go to the center so that I could get even more focused practice. Because if you fail once, it is really tough to get back on your shoes again. and then start preparing again, and then face that rejection, because it is certainly difficult. You'll be giving the same exam twice after a gap of, let's say, 2 months. So nothing really has changed, to be honest.
Right.
So only that part is your resilience that it drives you कि नहीं करना है.
Really
So
want to
I
do it.
On
yes.
a side note, looking at Anshul's background, I had also given my GRE twice. Okay. I tanked my first GRE, and then I was so angry at myself. I went to Goa for a week. I chilled over there for a while. I came back and then I smashed my GRE. So maybe guys, this could be a nice thing to do. Go ahead, Sami.
Or
Sorry.
maybe not. Or maybe
Yeah.
not. Depends on whatever says your board. Don't get too inspired.
Sorry guys, I'm a bad influence.
Yeah.
So cut to my second attempt. I think it went well. I scored 710 on the earlier format. So I knew it was good. But the result came, or the I applied very late for the second attempt. So it was around round two. So I knew that it will be very difficult to get through this round, but I thought maybe let's take this opportunity to attend some interviews, so that maybe it will prepare me for the next application cycle.
Yeah.
So I applied in the round two very late, but because of my GMAT score and my CAT, so I I was able to appear for the interviews. So o- obviously I got rejected on all of the I didn't pass through the interviews. I was waitlisted in some of the colleges, but the interview and the application process did help me. I The next time I knew where to apply, on what round of application to apply, because this is also very important. You should select how you should select your colleges for round one, round two, and round three is also very important.
Hmm.
You have to target it systematically based on your choice of colleges.
Very
So
true.
yeah,
Give more
I
insights
didn't.
on hide
Uh,
information. What
yeah,
do you
yeah. Please, Anshika, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, give us more information. Like, what do you think? When should one apply?
So I would give you my methodology. What I thought was, so I thought R1 you should apply, which might be somewhat aspiration from your realistic target. So I knew that one college, let's say ISB, for my profile might be aspiration. Again, I'm giving just an example. So I applied for ISB in R1, and IMA and IMB in R2, which were realistic targets for me, and IMC in R3, which you can be, let's say, somewhat sure कि हो ही
Hmm.
जाएगा as a backup for R3. So this was my planning. So I got admission in the R2 for IIM Bangalore for the next admission cycle.
That's
Nice.
amazing. That's amazing. I think you touched upon the planning bit over there. And I also feel that planning was most essential part for me as well to get to discipline. I initially took like the weekend course where somebody is teaching, but I wasn't able to cope up. And then I finally, in the next attempt, I took self-paced. But most important part was I had that Excel where I had clearly defined this day I do this day I do this. And I would literally, I had a timer where I would, because usually what happens is when we sit for 2 hours, it's not like 2 hours we're studying, right? We'll take a
Yeah.
break. Here, somebody's come, you're speaking to them. I
Mom
would
is
time
giving
it.
food.
Yeah,
Yes.
coffee, some or maid is coming to clean the house, whatever. So I would actually
True.
time ki actually how much did I study, right? And I put that in the Excel to say every day my target is this topic has to be finished, this is the minimum number of hours, and I had a target in the sheet where it said 110 hours is your target. And trust
Hmm.
me, once I reached 110, I was through. And
Yeah.
it also included like, initially prep, then practice. Also, it had that target that initially you only need to reach like 70% of accuracy. Accuracy is more important than you
Very
go
important.
to speed. So I think
Mm.
that is the first step where you also understand ki, what is the universe of GMAT for that matter, because it shouldn't
Right.
be ki bhai end mein aa gaye and then oh shit, like probability bhi padna tha, right? So
True.
planning was very helpful for me, and then keeping a tab to say, okay, maybe I missed it today because let's say it was my friend's birthday, but I will compensate it on, let's say, day after tomorrow or
Yeah.
whenever I can
Yeah.
find time. So
Absolutely.
discipline was very, very important. So how was it for
Mm.
you, Anshul? Like, give us more insights on how in depth did you plan, because you had like a lot going on.
Yeah, so for me, actually, had a matlab similar strategy, but my strategy was not on time, but on number of questions. So I had a target that, on weekdays, I will solve around 20 questions of verbal, around 10 data interpretations, and 10 quant.
Hmm.
And on weekends, I will solve one section each on all three sections on Saturday, all three sections on Sunday. So I used to do like that. Verbal, it took me, so verbal, actually, I got a feedback within a week. I understood that, verbal, I had to study a bit harder. So then I started practicing more and more. Even I did repeated questions in verbal, because sometimes that also helps in, understanding whether your perception is changing when you are re-attempting the question again. So I was doing that, and data interpretation was more towards understanding the types of questions, and each question carries a different kind of strategy to solve that question. So I was more focused towards that, and I kind of made a strategy step by step to solve that data interpretation questions. So that's how I managed all three sections together.
And what resources did you access, Anshul?
I accessed EGMAT. I took a subscription of online course. It was a self-paced course. So I
Okay.
had access of it for close to 3 months.
Okay.
So, and they used to track it. So, for example, I like that part of eGMAT, that bases your target scores in all the three sections and overall GMAT, they will make a complete plan how you should study. And before that, what they made me do was they made me attempt one entire GMAT test. I scored, if I remember correctly, I scored 595 focus edition in that. And then I set a target that, for example, okay, one more interesting thing I'll tell you. I was not aware that there is something called focus edition when I was giving GMAT. So,
Anshul, you're forgetting passports and this.
so what
Get
I did was, I set my target as 725 focus edition. Okay. So,
Oh, bro, that's a good strategy.
yeah.
it happened by mistake. I didn't do it intentionally. So I chose 725, and then what email eGMAT do is, so for example, if you have taken 725, no, all your test plan and all your roadmap
Oh,
to the GMAT day is planned according to that score and the score that you had when you did the sample one. So 595 to 725. Oh man, it was giving me such hard questions and all, and I was like, oh man, this is not happening, this is not happening. I think after completing my verbal, which I completed in, I think 1 month, I think 5 weeks I completed. After that, I attempted one GMAT. I scored 625, I think, and I was so depressed. I was like, how will I hit this target of 725? It just looks so far. How will I do that? And then I was talking to one of my friend who also attempted, and he was applying. I applied in round three for IIM ABC and ISB round two. I was late. I couldn't apply in round one and round two. So he already did. I asked him. So he was like, but 625 is good score focus edition. Why are you targeting 725? मैंने कहा, but the cutoff for A, B, C and I is been above 690. How will I qualify at 625? He's like, no, bro, 625 is 690 for focus edition.
Yeah.
Okay, then I realized, oh shit, I have did a blunder. So then I changed that 625, 725 to 695, I think, 685 or 695. Yeah, so it was
That,
crazy on that part.
that's crazy. That's crazy. I have a question, and I get a lot of people ask me this question. Now that all of us have done GMAT, GRE, we're in college. Uh,
Yeah.
when should you really start thinking about doing MBA? And when should you really, put the pen to the paper and start practicing for GMAT/GRE? Right? Samir, let me know what you think about this.
yeah, I think the motivation has to come from your own self, because for me, it was like when I was in my workplace, I knew that I want to grow up the ladder. I really love engineering, but you know that after a certain point, there is going to be a saturation in engineering. You might, let's say, go up to head of department or something. But I wanted to grow, let's say, to CXO level, because I would see people in my organization. I used to work for General Electric, so I would see people growing faster who have done MBA. So I thought that yes, I want to do an MBA. the majority of B schools in India have the criteria of minimum 5 years of work experience.
Yeah.
So let's say if you have 5 years of work experience, I think you should explore this 1 year MBA program.
Yeah.
And once you have chosen that I will do an MBA, you should not deviate from that path, because after 5 years of work experience, a lot will be going in your life. Marriage bhi hoga, even in your work, you will be given, you'll become a manager. So you will have much more work to do. So yes, you'll have to stay focused to your goal. I think that was my motivation to do.
Anshul?
Yeah, in addition to what Sameer said, just one point. What I feel is that, after completing your 4 to 5 years of work ex, one should give GMAT. Because your GMAT score is valid for 5 years, right? So
True.
once you give GMAT after 4 years or 5 years experience, still 8 or 9 years of experience, your GMAT score is valid. And what happens is,
Mhm.
as Samir mentioned, as you climb up the ladder in your organization, it becomes difficult for you to, prep for studies and find time to dedicate yourself to this GMAT prep. And believe me, it's not easy. I mean, all of us have gone through the GMAT prep. It's not easy. You have to dedicate good amount of time. You have to practice questions. And as we were discussing at the start of our conversations, that 9 years, 10 years of work really makes it very difficult. As Sameer was also
Mhm.
mentioning, you know how to solve it, but you take time. So my just suggestion would be that, as you complete 4 years, 5 years, you just give GMAT. Whether you apply for MBA or not MBA, that's a different thing. It will come in your life maybe at a later stage. But give GMAT. Your score is anyways valid for 5 years.
I
True.
would just add one point here that, like for me also, initially I didn't want to do an MBA because, I mean, too cliche, but like I would work with MBAs, IMA, BC, etc. And I would be like, I know everything that they are working on. So I never felt the need of it. So it's not necessary that it comes naturally to you that, you want to do an MBA. So even if you are at that age where you now feel the need, like I felt the need to say, my God, like I am not ready for my next 10 years. I utilize all the information, knowledge that I had to reach here now, because as in when you grow up, you're more lonelier in terms of understanding and knowledge, etc. So I
True.
had to get it through. So even though it was like 7.5 years when I realized that I want to do it, and 8.5 I was here, it's okay. It's perfectly fine. While it is great to start early, but it's okay. Yet you should also know that now, high time, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Because after this, you might only have options of doing the weekend courses or
Mhm.
certifications, and then it'll become more difficult. So, like in our class, we have people from like 5 years also to, if I'm not wrong, like I think 14 years, etc. Somewhere
Yeah,
around that. But like the
14.
sweet spot,
14 years.
yeah, the sweet spot would be like, between like 6 to 9 years would
Yeah.
be the sweet spot for your
Yeah.
learning, for your career, and to also attempt GMAT, etc., etc. So I think it's okay if you're in that phase where I was, let's say a year and a half back, it's okay. But now let's just do it. Should be your rhythm in life to say now no more. Let's just do it. High time if you really want to do it, is what I
Yeah.
would say.
It's a very stressful time, right? Because for me as well, I mean, I was doing a lot of like how Samir was traveling, even I was traveling a lot from Mumbai to Nashik almost every week, right? And what I did was I decided to quit my job, and I said that, hey, let me take a break for 4 months while I was on the parallel, I was doing part-time consultancies that I had, right? So the money was flowing in, it kept me busy, but I still had like about 4 hours per day to dedicate to my studies, right? And I think that strategy helped me, right? Of course, I had pre-planned this a year ago, and hence I could do it
Mhm.
properly. So I wouldn't
Mm.
say advise this to anyone, but it worked out for me. But I think for everyone, it's very different. Uh, I think the common perspective would be जितना जल्दी चालू कर सकते हो उतना better. And like
Yeah.
Anshul said, just give the exam at least once, right?
Mhm.
I mean, what's the worst that will happen, right? You'll probably just spend 10, 20,000 rupees, right? Nothing more than that. It at least
Yeah.
tests your capabilities, and you get to know where you stand in terms of the
Yes.
entire scheme of things, right? Yeah, Anshika? Any question?
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually while we spoke about resources, how everybody prepared, etc., what is your like any of you your take on external resources?
Yeah, a good point to mention, Anshika. And I actually remember that after my first attempt, I realized that I was not good in one part. I actually did not remember the section. I think there was a section wherein you had uh, some
Sentence.
an essay, then you'll have to answer some
Reading
questions in back in
comprehension.
the previous edition.
Yeah.
So I didn't score well. So I realized that I need to give some real-time exercises. So I purchased that from the GMAT website itself. So I think that helped me a lot for as one of the resource. I didn't had the time to actually take the help of GMAT, although I have listened that GMAT club is also very useful. But
Yeah.
I think Anshul might be able to tell more about the GMAT club or any other resource.
Yeah, so for me, actually, the doubt solving thing in eGMAT is also very good. So if you have any doubts in a particular question and you're not happy with the solution that is already mentioned, you can post. There's a specific group there in within eGMAT. So you can post your queries there, and they will get back to you. I think within a day or within a day, I was getting response from them. One other thing that I used was I purchased. So I think two GMATs were free for us from MBA.com.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
purchased another four.
Yeah.
So I had around six GMATs from MBA.com. So I purchased four more tests and I gave that also. So yeah, that also really helped me. And as Anshika mentioned, so GMAT Club I use, but I use majorly for SOP and essay prep. So I used GMAT Club for that. Yeah.
All right.
What about you?
Cool. I mean, I gave GRE and shout out to Greg Matt. So there's a website
Mm.
called gregmat.com and it's super cheap. I even forgot. I think it's $9 a month.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I mean, anyone who's giving GRE, just go to Greg Matt. I won't talk a lot about it because
Yeah.
that guy is great, right?
Okay.
Uh, about GRE, right? The verbal is a bit tough. And I get this question a lot because I think majority of us are engineers. So quant is usually like easy for us. Verbal is the tougher part. Would love to know from you folks, how did you go through verbal? Because I know I also had a tough time, even though I thought that my verbal
Right.
skills were amazing.
Right.
I think talking to me, you might have realized that I had to cough up more hard work on my verbal part. So that is true. So
Come on.
yeah, first thing. So for I will talk about GRE and GMAT both because I had the
Yeah.
opportunity to give both. So
True,
so
true.
for GRE, I remember that there was a website called Crystal Math or something
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
wherein you can post your essays and you can get your approximate score. So again, a free resource. Whoever is giving GRE should explore it. And for GRE, I think I had one book. I don't remember the name. There was one black color book for Pearson, if I am correct. So I just used that resource since I was freshly out of college. So my quant was good. For GRE, I think it focuses more on the verbal part, and GMAT focuses more on the analysis and the analysis part, I would say. So whoever who is good at verbal, I think should explore GRE. Okay, so one more good point. Many of the viewers will have the doubt of whether we should choose GRE or GMAT. I think the answer depends on the college which you are applying to.
Hmm.
Some colleges don't accept GRE, so
Yeah,
you should first have a look at the colleges. First
true.
point. Second point, it actually doesn't make any difference whether you give GRE or GMAT for the colleges if they are accepting both. So I think both of them are acceptable. However, GMAT has more acceptance for the MBA applications. So if you have a choice, go for. I would have preferred GMAT.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. I think Anshul or maybe Anshika can add more.
Just one more caveat before Anshul, you give your insights.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget to check if the college accepts online or on center. For an
I
example,
was.
IIM Bangalore only accepts on center. And I
Yeah.
think a lot more colleges only accept on center. So that is very
Right.
important. Don't like, yeah, fall into the trap that you give online and then you have to redo it. So yeah,
Right.
now on to you, Anshul.
Yeah, I was about to mention the same point. So yeah,
Yeah.
just be aware of that. And second thing, yeah, regarding verbal. So even I was kind of weak in verbal. So what I did was I didn't had much time to prep. I had just 80 days, So my 40-45 days went in verbal prep. I prepared just in the last 30-35 days I prepped for the remaining two sections. So yeah,
I
I spent more time, did more practice. Yeah, and that's how I cracked it. Yeah.
I think for verbal, in my first attempt, I did terribly bad, even though in my mocks I was doing well. You won't believe. I think I got some 23 percentile, matlab,
Uh,
terribly bad in verbal.
right.
And then I realized that, okay, so I was using top 1%, and they're pretty famous for their verbal.
Yeah.
And I realized that I was doing it instinctively, which is the wrong way to do.
Wrong
And
way.
initially I thought I'm doing instinctively and I'm getting good results. So let's just go ahead with it. And in the second attempt, I was like, forget Anshika, whatever you know, just follow what the guy is saying.
Right.
And that helped me. Like, just follow the framework. If he's saying A, follow A. If he's saying one, just do one. Just don't like put your instincts or intuitions in it. And that I think really helps in verbal because we end up
Right.
going to, I know this or I know that. And acha, one more very important part that this guy promotes is your knowledge. Because what happens, GMAT is a US first exam. So you need
Mm.
to know
Yeah.
a little bit about, let's say, history, women empowerment, what happened, a little bit about evolution, because you might have, a lot of times you have topic about evolution and whatnot. Like, so I think even general knowledge, I worked on that. I mean, I bought like a big book for history. I barely read 5 pages, but I like otherwise learned a lot in terms of like I would randomly, if there's a paragraph for the comprehensive part, if there's a paragraph for, let's say, Japanese history in US, whatever I score, irrespective, I would just go to YouTube and learn about it because I know this topic can come again. So that
True.
was also very, very important for verbal.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
would just like to highlight one more
yeah.
point to our viewers that, GMAT, you have to attempt all the questions. Otherwise, there's a penalty
Oh
marks
yeah.
Yes,
that's there.
yes.
And I did it multiple times. And after that, I realized, oh, okay. So whatever happens, you have to attempt all the questions. So yeah, just make sure of that too.
True. Very true. Very true. Very true. All right.
And the
I think we're
yeah,
almost at the end of it. Uh, just wanted to first thing first thank both of you for this. I know we've taken a lot of your time, even though we have CLS project to submit and do tomorrow, and that's why I am out of space because I've gone crazy. Any last words for people who are attempting EPGP who want to come for IIM Bangalore? What do you guys think they should think about?
Yeah, I would say don't fear the exam and stay focused on your doing your MBA part.
Yeah, and from my side, I think plan step by step. First, I think focus on your GMAT. Once your GMAT is done, then you focus on applications. And every college has certain specific things that they focus on. So, just try to get those things. Try to understand why are they accepting the candidates.
Mhm.
And I think it will be great if you can get in touch with one of the candidates who have already done this,
Hmm.
or maybe the existing candidates, existing batch. You can reach out to them. I think they'll be more than happy to help you out on your applications part and SOP part.
I think I would just add, like Samir said, that just know your code, like why you're doing it. Like for an example, I knew that I have to do it, and this, like, I gave myself the deadline that Anshika, this is the last time you do it, and you give all in.
Yeah.
And trust me, in all my mocks, which is very surprising, the max I scored was 615, and in my actual exam I scored 685. So
Hmm.
don't give up just because in the mocks you're not doing well. Just give your best. The most important part was on last day, like the day, my only focus was one question at a time. if you
Yeah.
if you don't do well in one question, it's okay, move on to next. In the next question, you're only thinking about that question, not what you did in the past. So just focus is important, and chill out like 2 days before, chill with
Mhm.
your friends, do party. That is more important because last 2 days you cannot change the world for sure, but your mind should be stress free. So make sure that you give your brain some leisure and have fun. So
Yes.
guys, yes, and Shubham, I think next time we're going to talk about SOPs.
Yeah,
Is that
we
that's
want
what our
to,
plan is, right?
yeah, we want to talk more about SOPs and interviews and things like that. But yeah, let's see, right? Cool. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you,
I think this was
guys.
wonderful. The entire
Yes.
idea of this channel, as we've mentioned it to everyone, is about really talking about what really goes on behind an MBA and what goes inside an MBA also, and that's why the channel is called Inside. So yeah, hope to connect with you again. Ciao.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you. Thank you for
much.
inviting us.
Good night,
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
guys.
Thank you for
Night.
inviting us. Thank you.
Night.
Good night. भाई बहुत मजा आएगा.
Recording in progress.
Hello, Anshul.
Hi,
Hello,
Shivam.
hello.
How is
Shivam.
everything in space?
Hey, Anshika, let's start.